this is my favourite bit. There's Ted looking great.
Hi, Richard. What's he doing?
Oh, sorry, Jamie. Hi, hello there. Sorry, it took me by surprise a bit there. Just
were you
watching
yourself?
Oh, just catching up on old times. You know how it is. Past glories.
It was many years ago,
Actually, funny, I'm watching a bit on YouTube, but there's it has a collection of things you might also like in the sidebar. There's another Space Precinct video that it's suggesting to me that says Space Precinct, an ambitious and forgotten TV show.
I've seen that video. It's quite good, isn't it?
Well, I haven't watched it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's it's a contemporary view of a show, which I'm trying to think how to phrase this. People that didn't watch the original and have found it and gone like, oh, this is actually quite good, but not perfect.
Yes, that's okay.
That's about the best I can say.
That's okay, I don't mind that. In fact, I see a lot of that on Twitter. A lot of people discovering it for the first time and thinking, either having vague memories of watching it the first time round, or coming to it completely new and thinking, what on earth?
Yeah. It's bonkers, isn't it? And with the full series box set out last year, lots more people have found it, which has been amazing.
Quite right too.
Anyway, Richard, this is enough of this self-indulgent nonsense.
You've interrupted my viewing.
Well, you can carry on shortly, but for now, shall we do the Gerry Anderson Podcast, Pod 45?
It's the Gerry Anderson Podcast!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get started.
Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson and Richard James.
Here we are. At number what did you say?
45.
45. That's amazing. It's incredible we've still got anything left to say.
Well, I was just looking at the website earlier on because I always have to go there and rake off the news and that sort of thing. And I was just thinking, we don't actually have to go hunting for new stuff to talk about because there's...
No.
Because, Richard...
because new Gerry Anderson stuff is happening right now.
Right.
Oh, there you go. I've said it early. That's it. It's done.
You've gone early. That's it now.
Yeah,
anyway, this is the Gerry Anderson Podcast and you are...
Oh, yes, I'm still Richard James. And who are you?
I continue to be Jamie Anderson.
Oh, that's great news. And here we are for the next hour and a half or so to talk all things Gerry Anderson. We love your input throughout the show, so we can read it out next time, of course. So don't forget you can tweet us on Twitter. You can hashtag us Gerry Anderson Podcast. You can tag me, Richard N. James, or him, I'm Jamie Anderson, and we will see your tweets and perhaps read them out next time. You can get in touch with us with all your thoughts, comments, reviews and ideas at podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk, and you will become one of the voices of the Podsterons to be read out. A few of those coming up later. I just want to get this in early as well.
Yes.
Subscribe, if you could, please, to make sure you get notifications every time a new episode appears. Rate, please, to let us know what you think, and leave us a lovely review.
Yes.
And share it with your friends so they get to hear us too. That would be nice.
Please do. And if you would like to join our Podsterons group on Facebook, it's now easier to find than ever, Richard. Do you know why that is?
Why? What have you done, Jamie?
Because we've got our own vanity address for the group.
Ah, great. Which is?
So if you go to facebook.com/groups/Podsterons, then you'll find us right there.
I like it.
And Richard, as you may have seen, I've been sharing a couple of exclusive bits and pieces with the Podsterons this week, which people aren't able to find out elsewhere. Certainly not until a bit later on. So it's well worth joining in the conversation should you wish to do so. But do answer those questions. You'll have to answer 3 questions to join. And there are currently 17 of you sat there in Podsteron purgatory.
Oh, I like it.
Because you failed to answer those questions. So if you've applied and haven't had your membership approved, then go back and answer the questions. Or Richard just won't let you in because he's a real meanie like that.
Oh, well, I am the gatekeeper, Jamie, and the power is going to my head. I'm enjoying every moment of it.
I can really tell that. So, Dickie.
Yes?
What have we got coming up?
Well, regular listeners, of course, will know what's coming up. But those of you who are just joining us for the first time, firstly, where have you been? And secondly, get a load of this. We've got the voice of the Podsterons. That's listeners' emails coming up a little later on. We've got some news from the Gerry Anderson universe. And we've got, of course, everyone's favourite item in the show. And that is Chris Dale's amazing Randomiser, whereby he sits down in front of a random episode and gives us his thoughts and comments. So, yeah, another packed show. And, of course, we've got an interview coming up a little later as well, haven't we, Jamie?
We do.
And who's it this week?
Well, our feature this week is with my granny Zelda.
Oh, yes.
And I mean Zelda from Terrahawks, Denise Bryer.
Lovely.
Now, Denise is very difficult to interview because she's so sort of self-deprecating and she doesn't like to talk about herself. Her favourite thing is being someone else.
Ah, yes.
So trying to pin her down for this has been really difficult. And I've got little segments from across 25 years in order to actually get that information together. So it's a little bit about her career, little snippets from Denise talking about her work on Terrahawks and working with Dad and stuff like that. But a little bit different. We haven't had that many female interviewees, have we?
No, that's true. That's very true.
So trying to make that right, and Denise is just so lovely.
And of course, she was there right at the beginning, wasn't she? Pretty much.
Yes, Torchy, I think she did some voice. In fact, no, of course she did Footso the cat in Twizzle.
Footso the cat. How could we forget?
So right from then through to Four Feather Falls, and then Terrahawks, and then of course again in the audio series for Terrahawks in the last few years with Big Finish. Yep. So she's probably, alongside David Graham, one of the longest serving Anderson voices there is.
Amazing. Lovely.
So there you go.
Yeah, well, we look forward to that. Also, I should, of course, I've mentioned that we'd like you to subscribe, share, rate and review. Perhaps I should also mention vote.
Ah, yes. I haven't put that in the news. So do you want to say about this now before we do the news?
So, Jeff Owen over on our Facebook page, or rather, I think it was on Twitter actually, said, I've just cast my vote for the Gerry Anderson podcast on the @BritPod Awards. Hope it helps. Now, this is the British Podcast Awards, which happens every year, and they open up one particular category, the People's Vote, to listeners. It's very easy to cast your vote, and of course, we'd be delighted if you could find your way to voting for the Gerry Anderson podcast. You just go to BritishPodcastAwards.com. BritishPodcastAwards.com. You'll see a little search bar there. Just type in Gerry Anderson Podcast. Be very careful to make sure it's the right one, the Gerry Anderson Podcast, and hit vote, and your vote will then be counted. And I think you've got a few weeks. I think it's kind of mid-May, I think, the closing date.
Yeah, mid-May's closing date. Yeah. And every little helps.
Yeah.
I think they sent out a tweet saying something ridiculous like 1,400 different podcasts around had already received at least one vote.
Sure.
I think we've got some very loyal listeners. We get a lot of downloads, so we're in with a little chance.
Of course
there.
we are. Of course, that is just a bit of fun. That's all good.
We'd love it if you vote, and do let us know when you voted on Twitter or in the Facebook group or wherever else.
Yeah, lovely.
Right, Richard. Yeah. You've neglected once again to mention one of the top 4 parts of the podcast.
Well, I mentioned the interview. I mentioned Randomiser, news.
Yeah. What's missing there?
What could it be?
I think it could be FAB Facts.
Oh, joy!
Oh, I just realised I put that book in front of my mouth, so it might sound a bit weird on the microphone. Anyway, here come the band. In they come.
Yeah, come on, boys. Crikey. How you been? You all right?
Favourite.
Looking forward to a nice Easter? Great. Yeah, good.
I've made them all tea this time as well, so they'll be playing extra vigorously.
And I put a few eggs around for them to hunt for after they finish playing.
Have you?
Yeah.
Boiled?
No, Easter eggs.
Oh, chocolate.
Yes.
Very good, yes. Yeah, nice.
Boiled
very good,
eggs.
aren't you? And happy Easter, listeners, if you're
Likewise,
listening
yes.
on the day of release.
Yeah.
Now, FAB Facts, for those of you who don't know, is a segment where Richard shouts Fab at a random point as I flick through a book of FAB Facts.
It's that simple, yeah.
And then we talk about one of them for a bit, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much
it. But sometimes interesting things come up, but sometimes not.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for this week's FAB Facts?
I was born ready for FAB Facts, Jamie.
Very good. Well, here's the book.
Yeah.
Get ready to shout Fab.
Ready when you are. Fab!
Right.
Okay, what have we got this week?
We have...
Now, just for the listeners at home, Jamie's doing that thing that old people do. He's holding it quite far away from him so he can actually read it.
I can read it here, but I'm trying not to cover the mic.
Oh, yes, I see.
And my mic's in a different position now, you see. Okie doke. So, let's have a Thunderbird 2 fact.
Great!
Actually, let's have 2 Thunderbird 2 facts,
I like
shall
your
we?
style.
Thunderbird 2 fact number 1. Thunderbird 2 frequently returned to the special effects workshops for repair when the wires suspending the craft snapped. These wires carried the power to fire the rockets, 4 underneath and 2 in its tail. If too much power was supplied, the wires would quickly become red hot, glow and break.
Really? These are the wires that actually suspended Thunderbird 2?
Yes,
so
I guess some were for suspension and some were for power.
I see, yeah.
But the powered ones...
Could heat up.
I guess, would heat up and break.
Crikey.
So Thunderbird 2 fact number 1.
Yeah, like it.
Thunderbird 2 fact number 2. In the Thunderbirds episode Terror in New York City, which, Richard, I know you're a big fan of.
Indeed.
Thunderbird 2 was attacked and crash landed on Tracy Island in that iconic scene.
Yes, it did, yes.
For this scene, a large model of the famous craft was destroyed during filming. The special effects team carefully chose one particular model for this purpose that was not perfect in detail.
Oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
So they decked
one to
the
blow
imperfect Thunderbird 2. But it makes sense, if everyone's like, oh yeah, let's use the ropey one. Yeah, we'll just set fire to that.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that shot, that scene is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because, it's I think for me, other than the Fire Flash crash landing with the elevator cars in the opening episode, that scene with Virgil crash landing Thunderbird 2 is the most tense.
Yes.
And the thing that I most cared about and most remembered from watching Thunderbird as a kid.
How interesting.
Because you're thinking, poor Virgil, he's really going to... Oh, no, is he going to make it?
It's all over. Yeah, that's right.
And it's beautifully done. The way Thunderbird 2 comes in and bounces off the runway and then finally comes to rest under some shaving foam dispensers that put the fire out.
Perfect.
It's just brilliant. In fact, I almost want to go and watch that right now.
Now, it's interesting because you often think, what a shame they have to blow this stuff up. I remember talking to Steve Begg once. He worked on Skyfall, I think, the James Bond movie, and built, I think, Skyfall, the Bond's
manor,
ancestral home, with the sole intention of blowing it up. And he loved it. That was the reason he was building it, was to blow it up.
Yeah, it's amazing how many man hours, man weeks of work will go into these things purely in order to, blow them to smithereens. I mean, another example, David Tremont building a stately home for the Stately Homes robberies for Thunderbird 65.
Yeah.
I watched him building that for several weeks, I'm pretty sure, doing the most fine work. And then we all had to evacuate the building while this thing went off. The glass in the front windows literally bulged out as the explosion went off.
Yeah.
And the final result was this thing, blown to the tiniest pieces imaginable.
And I'm sure he had a massive smile all over his face.
Absolutely. But everyone always does. Because that's part of the pleasure and the more detail you put into building these things, the more detail you get from the destruction of them.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's pretty cool.
That's very good. Now, you say you picked 2 Fab Facts. I actually have a couple more, Jamie.
Really?
Yeah, now these have been suggested by listeners. Megan got in touch with us. This is on Twitter, saying, did you know the front grille of Fab 1 is an actual Rolls-Royce grille? And the car was never called the Rolls or the Roller. Rolls-Royce insisted that the car was given its full name, the Rolls-Royce, or Fab 1 couldn't be used. Oh, well.
Is that true?
Well,
I don't
Megan
know.
seems to think so. Hashtag Fab Fact, so it must be true.
Yeah, listeners, I'm sure I've heard Parker saying, or heard Lady Penelope saying, fetch the Rolls.
Oh.
But maybe she only says fetch the Rolls Royce.
Yes. Well,
Thunderbirds aficionados.
Now the second one.
Let us know.
Exactly. Now I've got to fiddle with my phone here because I took a screenshot of this. So just bear with. I'm just going to click on my photos there because this one appeared on Twitter just as we were set to record. And this is Pingu 25430, Simpsons Clips 24, of course. Here's my Gerry Anderson Podcast, hashtag Fab Fact. Did you know that Doctor Who and Wurzel Gummidge star John Pertwee was originally going to voice Captain Thrice in Lavender Castle? Unfortunately, he died before any voice recording could take place. There you go. Another Fab Fact from a listener.
I did not know that.
No.
However, I did know that John had asked Dad for voice roles.
Yes, I think we spoke about this before. That's right.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah. Now, I think he had quite an interest in the whole Gerry Anderson thing because he certainly voiced and appeared in various documentaries about Gerry Anderson's stuff, I think. I'm sure I've seen a couple on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think he was a bit of a fan.
Well, he certainly got on very well with Dad when they met.
Yeah.
And and like I said, wrote and asked and said, if you ever, trying to displace David Graham, interestingly enough, saying if you ever make a Thunderbirds movie live action, I'd love to do Parker.
Right.
He would have been fascinating as Parker, wouldn't he? But
yes, I don't know how that would have worked. Would he have given us his version of David Graham's Parker, or would we have heard John Pertwee's Parker?
I've got absolutely no idea. Because have you watched... we're going way off topic now, and this is a very long, extended Fab Facts. Have you watched Gotham, the
I've never seen
Batman
Gotham.
prequel?
No.
So Sean Pertwee plays Alfred the Butler, and I can almost see Sean Pertwee being Parker, kind of in that Alfred mode. It's
I see.
Really interesting, and obviously, yeah. So there's because he's become more and more like his dad. Hasn't
Very
he,
much so.
Pertwee?
He tweeted a picture of himself in Third Doctor gear for Halloween one year, and yes, the similarity was remarkable. It's lovely.
Looked amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Having gone off
we have a bit.
some weird Fab Facts tangents, that's the end of this week's Four Facts.
There you are.
Beautiful. I mean, hilarious and informative.
Here we are. You're listening to the Gerry Anderson Podcast. Welcome, everybody, for the next, probably about an hour and a quarter, I should think now. We're going to be talking all things Gerry Anderson. We've still got the voice of the Podsterons coming up. We've got a fantastic interview, or snippets of interviews, with Denise Bryer, the amazing Zelda from Terrahawks, amongst so many other roles. And we've got Chris Dale still to come with his Randomiser. It's all go, isn't it?
It is all go.
Yeah.
But before all that is gone, have you got more tweets and things, or should we go into Gerry Anderson News?
Now, let's talk about this because, do you remember a couple of weeks ago we asked you to mark Gerry Anderson's, what would have been his 90th birthday, over on Twitter by posting a picture of yourself raising a glass or with a favourite toy or DVD or whatever it might be, and hashtagging it Cheers Gerry Anderson. Well, I've just picked out 3. There were loads and loads on the day. Now, first of all, Rick tweeted, tomorrow will be a very first day working as a production assistant on a TV show. I'm now watching some good old Gerry Anderson to calm my nerves. Gerry made my childhood absolutely FAB. Hashtag Cheers Gerry Anderson. Lady Razor Sharp, who's a new fan, got in touch on Twitter and said, I'm a day late and a relatively new fan of your dad's work, but it was and is fun and inspiring. He had a big imagination and I'm glad he was able to share it with the world. It's okay to be a kid at heart and love adventures. Hashtag Cheers Gerry Anderson. And finally, Caroline Ford. Now, this is a lovely one because we love it when people pass on a bit of Gerry Anderson to the next generation.
We do.
So she says, Stingray, Joe 90, Captain Scarlet, but the hands-down favourite was always Thunderbirds for me, and the Mighty Atom was my all-time best episode. 40 years later, my Thunderbirds-obsessed son's favourite was Pit of Peril. Hashtag Cheers Gerry Anderson.
Nice.
Isn't it? And a bit of good news as well. The following day, there was an account that tweets the most used hashtags from the previous 24 hours. So the top hashtags on the 14th of April, hashtag Game of Thrones, of course, hashtag Extinction Rebellion, hashtag The Archers, hashtag BBC Bias, hashtag Cheers Gerry Anderson.
Nice.
Isn't that lovely?
So we made it.
Yeah. So that's good,
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, and we also I put out a little tweet.
Yeah.
Which you may have seen.
You did indeed.
Which viral is not the right word for it, but got 5,500 likes and 1,000 retweets.
Yeah.
And nearly 1,000 replies of people all saying, what their favourite thing was or why they loved it, and it was really nice. It was so crazy I couldn't keep up with it.
Great.
Thank you to everybody who responded to that tweet and favorited it, retweeted, whatever.
Yeah,
it was
nice. Nicely done.
It was a lovely day, so thank you.
Yeah.
And now, Richard.
Yes.
Is it time for
hashtag Newsy News News News?
That's not a hashtag.
It is now.
News. No, it's not. No, it's definitely not a hashtag, but thank you for...
Okay. This time.
Yeah, so this week's hashtag News.
Yes.
Well, there's lots of stuff going on. As I said, it's so amazing that we keep... I don't have to search for stuff. I don't have to make stuff up. There's stuff just rolling in every week.
Yeah. It's great.
So let's lead with some Space 1999 news.
Oh, loving it.
Thinking about that show as I was staring at the moon last night.
Yeah.
Because it was so cloudy at one point that it disappeared. And, just for a moment.
Oh.
It's still there.
You have checked that it's back. Okay, fine. Good.
Yeah, I did. I definitely checked.
Yeah.
So Space 1999 fans in the United States of America, North America in fact, rejoice.
Oh.
As you may have seen, Shout Factory is releasing the complete Series 1 and 2 on Blu-ray for the 20th anniversary of Breakaway.
Yeah.
So it's the anniversary of a fictional date within a show, but not the anniversary of the show itself.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
It's a great day to celebrate. I think it's actually out in July, this set, but it's the full series the first time, because I think in the US they've had Series 1 repeatedly, but not Year 2 at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a special edition collector's box set which features, correct me if I'm wrong, an eagle and moonscape snow globe.
You're joking. Really?
I thought, it's weird, but brilliant in many ways.
Work. Yeah, I can see that.
It's one of the more strange
snow globe
giveaway items in the Gerry Anderson universe. Listeners, if you can think of a stranger one, then we'd love to hear from you. Podcast at gerryanderson.co.uk.
Yeah.
But I know they've got all sorts of extra features and stuff. They've been doing some new interviews, I believe.
Great.
So US viewers, you should be able to get something rather special. And I am in touch with Shout Factory, and I'm going to try and get them to give us some juicy gossip, some hot tips, some newsy news. In fact,
Love it.
about that set. So more to come.
Great.
There is a clearance sale going on.
Is there?
In the Gerry Anderson store right now. Yes, an Easter clearance sale. If you go to the Gerry Anderson store, shop.gerryanderson.co.uk, in the top menu there's a clearance button. Click it. There are currently 42 items in the clearance section which we need to get rid of.
I see.
Out of stock to make some room for some rather cool stuff which is coming up, including something which Space 1999 fans will probably like.
Cool.
More on that in a future pod.
All right.
So head over there.
Yep.
Thunderbirds fans, we haven't forgotten about you.
Right.
Have you read, Richard, about this new hotel that's coming to Slough?
I have read about it. Yes, it's not so
Where
far
did
from
you read
me.
about it?
I read about it on a tweet, I think. Didn't you tweet about it saying this looks rather cool?
Probably, yeah. Anyway, so I thought it was last year, but the year before we were emailed by the group who were putting this hotel together and said, is there any way you think we could have a little Thunderbirds display?
Yeah.
And I said to them, well, why don't you go one step further? I think some cool kind of branding around the hotel would be pretty awesome. And I put them in touch with ITV.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, the deal has now been done, and there is going to be a Thunderbirds themed hotel in Slough.
What? That is incredible.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Subtly themed,
Well,
they're
of
saying.
course.
You know, numbering on the floor, the right fonts, little bits of pop art, some colour choices and some silhouettes around the place. But it's still a Thunderbirds themed hotel.
Yeah.
You know, 54 years after the show originally aired.
That's great.
It's of sufficient interest that a big hotel in Slough, fair enough, is going to be Thunderbirds themed, and that is brilliant.
Well, and of course the perfect location, because as we know, there are lots of places around Slough that are, intimately connected with the Gerry Anderson story. The King's Arms, of course, in Cookham, and the Trading Estate where they filmed, and all sorts of other venues. Islet Park in Maidenhead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So great
and
place to
obviously
spend a
Pinewood
weekend.
just down the road.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great, and although it's not opening, Richard, until 2021, so we've got a little bit of time. But do book early, because I'm sure the rooms will be snapped up.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be a great place to have,
here we go.
Just for example, Andercon 2021?
Well, wouldn't it?
I think that might be
perfect.
If you would like a Gerry Anderson convention to be held at or near or partly at this new Thunderbirds themed hotel in Slough, let us know. Podcast at gerryanderson.co.uk.
Yeah. Bound to have a big old conference room, aren't they?
Well, they better do.
Yeah.
I'll send another email. Now, part of the reason this happens is because there's such enduring love for Thunderbirds, and because Thunderbirds fans all over the world are so passionate about it and remain so. Mm-hmm. One of those fans who we hear from quite regularly, Richard, don't we?
We do.
Is Ian Jacklin.
Yep.
Now, Ian has started a petition. What is that petition about, I hear you ask, listeners? Well, many of you may already know.
Yes.
But if you don't, about 12 years ago, I think, I probably got the dates wrong, but certainly around a decade ago, ITV put out a Blu-ray of Thunderbirds, but it was cropped to make it 16:9 rather than 4:3. Yeah. So for those of you not super familiar with ratios and that sort of thing, old tellies were a bit more square, the pictures are more square, that's 4:3. More modern stuff is all shot in 16:9, so that's a little bit wider. But when you try and make a square thing look wider, you end up cutting off the top and bottom of the picture. And they also put a new stereo soundtrack and new effects and various other things, which die-hard Thunderbirds fans don't want, which is fair. You're losing some of the picture and all that sort of stuff.
Okay,
anyway, Japan and the US have got great full-screen versions. The UK doesn't have one, so there's a petition going on right now. If you want to sign it, I am in dialogue with ITV about this. They are considering, having this new version of the Blu-ray out there in the world, but a petition will certainly help.
Yes.
So if we can get to 2,000 signatures on that petition, then we're in with a shot of getting this this new Blu-ray. So
great.
Head over to the Podsterons Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Podsterons, or just head back on our timelines on Twitter or whatever, and you'll find the link there. But do go and sign it and share.
Nice.
Also for Thunderbirds fans,
well, they're being spoiled, aren't they? Spoiled rotten this week.
They really are.
Yeah.
Sorry, fans of the Secret Service and Jack Spanner. We'll
of the Secret Service, you mean?
Fans, yeah, sorry. I forgot that. It's just the one. Century 21 Tech Talk continues with Thunderbird 4, which came out this weekend just gone.
Lovely.
I think we're going to have a quick 1 week hiatus on these, and then there's going to be a couple more. So sit tight, but they've gone down so well.
I'm sure.
And that's part of something we're trying to do for you guys on YouTube. We want you to be able to watch more video content, so we've been working really hard to put out much more. And we are very keen to reach 10,000 subscribers, which would be a nice point to get to for the YouTube channel. We're just about to hit 9,000 at time of recording.
Great.
So if you haven't already subscribed, head over to youtube.com/Gerry Anderson TV and hit subscribe. It's very easy and quick, and then perhaps share the link with a few of your chums who enjoy Gerry Anderson content, because there's 2 or 3 new videos up every single week. Really interesting stuff, no matter what show you're into. So go and check it out.
Amazing. And
that, Richard,
yes,
we finally got there, is the end of the Gerry Anderson news.
That was the news! That was the news!
God, somebody's been taking singing lessons, haven't they?
Didn't I? Now, what I love about the Gerry Anderson news section, listeners don't know this, but that's just the stuff we can talk about, isn't it?
Yes.
So the news they hear, that's just the stuff we can talk about. There's other stuff we can't even mention.
Yeah. Well, there's I know right now I know of 5 quite major things.
Yes.
Not like major, but quite major.
Yeah.
Which fans are going to love.
Absolutely.
That we can't yet talk about.
No.
So there's more exciting stuff to come, and one of the best ways to find out about it is via the Gerry Anderson Podcast.
Exactly right. So don't forget to subscribe. Now, Philip Murphy got in touch on Twitter, I think, said, I really loved the interview with Derek Meddings on the Gerry Anderson Podcast. That was Pod 43. The solution to filming the SPV from Captain Scarlet going around the car park was genius. Yes, if you don't know what he's talking about there, have a listen to the interview with Derek Meddings on Pod 43. Very, very interesting. Over on our Facebook group, that's facebook.com/groups/Podsterons.
You've got it.
We did ask, I think last week, if anyone had found any interesting stuff at various car boot sales and so on, jumble sales and charity shops. Yuhan got in touch to say, I found this little gem at a quaint little bookshop in the little township of Bowral, located in the Southern Highlands just south of Sydney. And he attached a picture of a Thunderbirds 50th Anniversary Edition Agent's Technical Manual. Doesn't say how much he paid for it, but there.
Well, they're still in print, so hopefully he didn't pay too much for it.
Norman got in touch as well on the Facebook page to say, hello all, this weekend's agenda, morning coffee, plus pipe, plus outside patio, equals catching up with the Gerry Anderson Podcast for the last few episodes. What a picture he's painted there. It's quite nice, isn't it? Out on the patio with his pipe. Well, thanks for joining us, Norman. That's lovely. And finally, Carl says it's Good Friday morning, ergo the perfect opportunity to sit back and watch Journey to the Far Side of the Sun. So that's what he's up to this morning. Very good. So yes, do get in touch with us on Facebook. Join the group. 3 questions to answer, and I'll let you in once you've answered all 3 of them, and then you can join in the conversation. People are posting pictures of their cosplays and their favourite toys, and they're talking about their favourite parts of the Gerry Anderson universe. They're posting videos and all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, really. Critiques of the podcast.
Yeah, yes, a few of them.
But they're also digesting some exclusive Gerry Anderson news and tidbits in there too, so it's worth joining. Yeah. Right, Richard, should we do some listener emails?
Hang on.
Sorry, it's not called that anymore, is it?
No, because it's kind of a bit cold in here, isn't it? What is that? Chills passing down my spine.
This is the voice of the Podsterons.
I was so convinced then, I thought something was wrong. And then I realised that we were acting.
That's 3 years at drama school for you, Jamie.
It really shows.
Yes, it's time for listeners' emails. You can get in touch with us, podcast at gerryanderson.co.uk, just like these lovely people have been doing.
Shall I go first?
Go on then.
David Munns sent us an email. He greets us. Hello, gentlemen.
Oh, hello, David.
I have to say, I'm absolutely loving listening to the weekly podcast. I've been catching up from Pod 1 while at work, and I'm currently up to Pod 20.
Wow.
What?
Well, you won't hear this for a while, then.
I know, he's 25 pods behind. Goodness me. Well, David, when you got here, welcome along. God, sorry you're late, but come on.
Exactly.
He says, I grew up with early 90s reruns of Stingray, Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet, which I watched endlessly. I had all the action figures from Vivid Imaginations and Matchbox. Apart from the Tracy Island, I had to make the Blue Peter one with my dad.
Oh.
Well, it's a nice experience to have, but it must have been a part of that Christmas wave when it sold out.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, I've recently rebought almost all the action figures, but now in my early 30s, they're obviously mint on card.
Obvs.
Quite right, too. I've been on an Anderson nostalgia run of late, Captain Scarlet being my favourite series. I'm very much looking forward to attending the Fab Worlds of Gerry Anderson event at the Space Centre in the summer. Will either of you be attending? All the best. I will go back to binge listening to previous pods. Regards from David. Thanks,
Very
David.
Good. Yeah. Fab Worlds of Gerry Anderson. Yeah, that sounds interesting. It would be nice if we could go, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have talked about it very briefly, haven't
Indeed.
we? The
well, I
possibility
put
of doing something.
Yeah, I put things in motion, so we'll see what happens. It would be a great event to go to, of course. So we'll see see what I hear back in the next few days, and we'll get back to you. Of course, you'll be the first to know here on the podcast.
We'll let you know, Podsterons.
Yeah, that's right.
And thanks for the question, David.
Indeed. So I have one here from Danny Moy. The pipes are calling. Couldn't resist. He says, "Hi, Orin and Moyd." Yeah, no, that's not really fair, is it?
Rude.
You asked in Pod 44 about any car boot buys we might have had, so I have a few I thought I'd share with you. Here we go. You got a Dinky Shadow tank with missile launcher and tracks for £15, a Dinky Eagle with good paintwork and pod for £7, Product Enterprise Stingray in box, never opened for £30, and a Tracy Island that opens up with sounds and Thunderbird craft for £1.
Just £1?
Bargain.
That is a bargain.
Also, he says, I sent an email a few weeks ago with a fab fact and an idea for the 50th. I'm not 100% sure you received it, so I've attached it to this message. And that was a suggestion for the 50th podcast. He says maybe a competition or a voucher code for the Gerry Anderson store. Maybe 50% off for 50 podcasts. Thanks for keeping up the podcast. I've been listening since Pod 1, FAB and SIG, Danny Moy. Thanks, Danny. Well, yeah.
Cheers, Danny.
Nice
idea. Yeah, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
We should definitely do some sort of giveaway for Pod 50.
Yes.
But Richard, it's creeping up quite quick.
I know.
We keep saying we're going to make a plan, and we haven't made a plan yet.
Well, hopefully the things that I emailed someone today about the possibility of doing something.
Oh, did you?
So we'll hear back from that. But also, I've been thinking. Someone mentioned on Facebook on the Facebook group about maybe the interview for the 50th should be questions to you and I.
Gosh.
So maybe we could put a call out on the Facebook page for any questions that people want to ask, and we can simply ask each other those questions.
Yeah. All right, fine.
It's a possibility, isn't it? Is that an idea? If this section remains in the podcast, if he doesn't cut it out, then that's what we'll do. And if it's not there, we won't.
Well, and you'll never know.
Exactly.
You'll never be any the wiser. Let's see. Richard.
Yes.
One more email for this section of Voice of the Podsterons.
Yeah. Good.
This one is from Elliot Webb.
Oh, yeah.
Who writes, Dear Jitchard and Raimi.
Oh.
See what he's done there.
I do.
Yeah. And there you go. We're equally amused and bemused.
Yes, quite.
So, nice work, Elliot. Hello, chaps. Just dropping you a line to say the podcast continues to be an excellent venture, providing me, and as we know, many other people worldwide, with countless hours of enjoyment, all wrapped in some wonderful Gerry Anderson-shaped nostalgia.
Yeah.
The tributes to Shane Rim in particular were very moving, to which I say thank you for reading mine out from Twitter. Oh, there you go. Well, that's down to Jitchard, not
yes,
me.
Indeed.
You might remember me from many pods ago. I've actually forgotten which pod. Have we, Richard? I think we may have done. Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry. From my extremely long previous email, too long to read out, in fact. I recall Jamie saying he'd trim it down to a sensible length, which never occurred. Whoops,
no,
sorry.
Jamie.
But since you're both very busy fellows, I suppose that could be forgiven. I suppose he can be forgiven.
Yes.
Oh dear, sorry. I shall have to take matters into my own hands at some point and share my stories at an abridged length, split up over several emails and several pods.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, fine, yes. It does help us if you keep them relatively short.
Yeah.
It's hard enough for me to read words as it is without them being many pages long. But this time I will keep it short and ask some questions too.
Go on then.
He threatens. Firstly, in regards to the pods in general, it's an odd question, but what time in the morning do the pods go live on iTunes? I like to listen on my long commute to work, and since I get up at 6 a.m. GMT, the pods have yet to be released at that point.
Right.
And sometimes I can't download them at work since my work doesn't have Wi-Fi. Oh dear. And the pod file size exceeds the download limit set by iTunes. Oh no.
Oops.
This means I have to download it when I get home and listen on Tuesday commutes. A whole day late. Terrible.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the end of the world if it's not doable, but it would be nice if the release could be set for slightly earlier in the morning and I could keep up to date.
Okay. Right.
Let's answer that in a minute. Secondly and finally, when I'm not listening to the podcast, I like to listen to audiobooks during my commute, which got me wondering, will we see any audiobooks for Gemini Force 1 in the future?
Oh, yes.
I love reading them and have done so over and over, but some audiobooks would be brilliant as well. Kept it brief this time. Really.
Well.
Briefish.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, guys, from Elliot. Elliot, thank you very much for your slightly less long email.
Yeah.
Now, podcast release.
Yeah.
I have them set to 7:30 a.m. on Monday morning.
Okay.
However, iTunes does not take that release immediately, and so sometimes it's delayed until 10:30 or later.
Yeah.
So even if I set it to the earliest time I can do it on a Monday, it still won't be on iTunes for your 6 a.m. commute. I'm terribly sorry.
But Elliot, why don't you just imagine that it comes out Tuesday mornings?
Yeah, exactly.
Just wait for Tuesdays.
Yeah.
That's a thought.
Yeah, so we do try and be as accommodating as possible.
Yeah.
But we just can't in this case. In terms of Gemini Force 1 audiobooks, they have been discussed, but at this time we just simply don't have the time to get them out there. But they are beyond the discussion phase and will possibly happen at some point in the future.
Okay.
But not this year for sure. That's all I can say.
Good.
And if you haven't read Gemini Force 1 yet, which is the book series created by Dad and completed by M.G. Harris, then you can pick them up for $1.99 for each book on the Gerry Anderson store.
Lovely.
Very cheap and cheerful.
Yeah, very good. Now, I do have one final email here, actually, Jamie, just before we move on. This is from Edith Brown. Says, hello dear, my name is Edith Brown. I am a US military woman. I will be glad to know you more better and to be your friend. I will be waiting for your response as soon as possible. Oh no, that didn't come to the podcast. That went to my spam folder, sorry.
Oh!
Sorry about that. That's nothing to do with the Gerry Anderson Podcast at all, is it?
Oh, what a shame. I thought we had somebody in the military who was very keen on the Gerry Anderson Podcast. No, it's just spam. Well, thank you to Edith Brown and all of our Podsterons this week for your emails. If you would like to ask us a question or make an observation or say anything at all, really, then you can email us podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk.
Yeah, lovely. Now, over on Twitter, Paul tweeted, I just voted for my favourite podcast today. Have you? It was a fab experience. That's at BritishPodcastAwards.com. Richard Burton, of all people, said, placed my vote. I accidentally voted for Benji and Nick too, so if there's a draw, it's my fault. Well, that just means that some of you have got to get on there and place another vote, please, so we're ahead of Benji and Nick.
Divided loyalties.
Because that would never do. So yes, don't forget you can get in touch with us on Twitter and on our Facebook page as well. But in the meantime, time to move on and time for this week's interview feature, Jamie. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it's with the lovely Denise Bryer, as we mentioned earlier on, one of the longest-serving Anderson voice artists who started playing Footso the cat in Twizzle in 1957.
Yeah.
Went through Torchy and Fall for the Falls, returned for Terrahawks, and then has returned for Terrahawks audio drama series with Big Finish in the last few years. So she's really been doing Anderson stuff for 60 years.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Seems about as long as we've been doing this podcast.
Yes, that's how long it certainly feels to our listeners. So yes, I've got a mashup of bits and pieces from Denise from across the years, including some historical biographical notes from our dear host of the Randomiser, Chris Dale.
Lovely.
So hopefully by the end of this, you'll get a feel for what a lovely lady Denise is and how talented she is. So let's go straight into the interview /feature/thing with Denise Bryer.
Terrahawks, stay on this channel. This is an emergency.
My name is Denise Bryer, and the person who has influenced my career so much was Gerry Anderson. His son has also influenced me and is still continuing to influence me in doing the work I really love, which is character work.
And also drinking gin at lunchtime.
Yes, I like a nice gin.
Denise Pauline Rosalie Bryer was born on January the 5th, 1928 in Kensington in London, and made her film debut at the age of 9 when she appeared in the 1937 movie Romance in Flanders, also known as Lost on the Western Front.
And I didn't want to go on stage at all. I did one other film when I was 8. And then I very, very sort of reluctantly was pushed into RADA.
After studying at RADA, Denise began working on various BBC radio series in 1947, where she developed a talent for playing old ladies and little boys. One of her earliest television successes came in 1955, when she provided the voice of the title character in The Adventures of Noddy.
Here we go. There, I think that should... Ooh! Noddy, you haven't taken it. Oh, yes, I have. Oh, but I wasn't smiling. I don't think that'll matter much in that picture.
The character was extremely popular, and Denise was again hired to provide Noddy's voice for a Kellogg's Ricicles commercial produced by fledgling production company Pentagon Films.
Hello, children. It's me, little Noddy, and I've got something for you.
In 1957, Gerry Anderson and Arthur Provis separated from Pentagon to form their own production company, FAB Films. Their first production was the 52-episode children's television series The Adventures of Twizzle, and Denise was hired to play Twizzle's feline friend, Footso the cat.
I've got such big paws, you see, that I'm always falling over them. That's why I'm called Footso. What's your name?
I'm Twizzle, and I've run away from a toy shop.
And I ran away from the house where I live because the children are always laughing at my big paws. Can I bang something, please? Uppity lets me bang things with his hammer sometimes.
During this time, Pentagon also produced Here Comes Candy, another children's puppet film that once again featured Denise among the voice cast.
Can we have our surprise now, Candy? Yes, when I say go, you just jump off the wall. 1, 2, 3, go! Oh, oh, oh! I'm stuck!
Just a few years later, Denise returned to APF to join the cast of the puppet western Four Feather Falls, where she provided the voices for several regular characters, including Little Jake, Makuya, and trading store owner Ma Jones.
Why, Mr. Twig, you seem in a terrible hurry.
I ain't got no time to stop, ma'am. I gotta get to the sheriff.
Oh, the sheriff? Oh dear. Does that mean trouble?
Yeah, sure does. Means a gunfight. You better get on home.
Oh.
At the time, Denise was married to Nicholas Parsons, who also provided the voice of Four Feather Falls' lead character, Sheriff Tex Tucker.
Stay where you are, Ma.
I ain't never seen a mountain cat that close afore.
Following completion of the series, Parsons and Anderson joined forces to produce a series of 3 commercials for the travel agent Blue Cars. These featured Nicholas and Denise playing a different character in each ad.
God grant we may not have a European war thrust upon us, and for such a stupid reason too. No, I don't mean stupid, but to have to go to war on account of tiresome Serbia beggars belief.
Denise was always more comfortable in front of a microphone than a camera, and as a result she made very few television and film appearances. However, her radio work spanned 6 decades, including countless comedy and drama shows for the BBC.
But I advertised in the Times yesterday because I couldn't get a telephone. And before I knew where I was, I had one. I just want to tell you that I think your telephone service is the greatest in the world, Mr. Van. Mr. Van? Are you there, Mr. Van?
My dear young lady, I don't know who you are or what you want. This is Edward Heath here, out in Borneo.
She also provided character voices and narration for dozens of children's storybook LPs.
Hello, Christopher Robin. I found a poo and a piglet and an Eeyore, but I can't find any breakfast.
Don't you know what Tigger's like?
I expect if I thought very hard I should. But I thought Tiggers knew.
I do. Everything in the world except honey and acorns and thistles.
Oh, well then.
In 1965, Denise joined the cast of the English-language redub of the French children's puppet series La Maison de Tutu, better known in the UK as Hector's House. Denise played Kiki the Frog and voiced the character in 78 episodes of the show up to 1970.
I think I'll tame her. It would be nice to have a little tame frog around the house.
But I've been tame all my life. In fact, I'm a very clever frog. I work for the Weather Forecasting Bureau up in London.
Oh, congratulations.
Comment ça va? Avez-vous une coupe? Ah oui, chérie, le premier thé anglais.
When a good cup of tea really counts, you're right to drink Brook Bond PG Tips. It's the tea you can really taste.
J'aime votre PG Tip, monsieur.
Can you ride under me?
Denise regularly worked on English dubs of foreign films, including The 12 Tasks of Asterix in 1976 and The Lou Ferrigno Hercules in 1983.
There is a way. First of all...
Hey! What are you doing?
I need 10 drops of your powerful blood in exchange for what I have to tell you, if you want to see your sweetheart again.
In 1977, she also worked on the live-action animation hybrid Gulliver's Travels, starring Richard Harris.
I won't hurt you.
Oh, I'm not afraid. It's just that I have a long way to go.
I could give you a lift, if you like.
Yes, please.
Climb onto my hand. Come on, come on.
As the 1980s began, Denise was about to take on the role of one of the most evil women in the universe in a brand new puppet sci-fi television series. In Starfleet, known in its country of origin Japan as X-Bomber, Denise voiced the character of Bloody Mary, or as she was renamed for English-speaking audiences, Commander Makara.
I have something that I wish to ask you. I believe you know all about the secret of F-01. Your answer, Commander of the Earth. I know you possess this information. After all, as a member of Starfleet High Command, you must have heard about F-01, Captain. Tell me.
Across 24 action-packed episodes, Makara was a constant thorn in the side of the X-Bomber crew, as her eternal quest to obtain the secret of the F-01 threatened death and destruction at every turn.
There's nothing to stop us reaching the Earth.
Their forces are open to deceit, a planet of trust. We'll begin the conquest with Starfleet Command.
Perhaps understandably, given its emphasis on action and explosions, many viewers at the time mistook Starfleet for a brand new Gerry Anderson series. Nobody was more concerned about that than Anderson himself, as he was about to launch his first sci-fi puppet series for 15 years, which, coincidentally, Denise was also to provide voices for.
Terrahawks, stay on this channel. This is an emergency.
Terrahawks launched in 1983, and 39 episodes would air over the following 3 years. Denise played several regular and recurring characters on the show, including Captain Mary Falconer, second in command of the Terrahawks.
Tiger, when you lose an argument, lose with grace and dignity. And shut up!
The female personality of the schizophrenic hermaphrodite It-Star.
I'm made of sugar and spice and all things nice.
The Scottish xeroid nurse.
Ah, there you are. Well, wheel him in.
And the overbearing mother of stewed apples.
If your dear daddy was alive today, he'd turn in his grave.
But there was one Terrahawks character that was to eclipse all the others. One that made even Commander Makara look like an angel.
Get on with it, you cretin!
As Zelda, queen of the planet Guk and would-be ruler of the universe, Denise had free rein to be as evil and wicked as she liked, and she brought a unique blend of psychotic lunacy to a character that is still fondly remembered to this day.
My aim is still your destruction.
I imagined it would be.
Following Terrahawks, Denise provided memorable voices in 2 cult classic family films. The first of these was released in 1985, when she voiced Bellina the Chicken in the live-action Disney movie Return to Oz.
Oh, no.
It's just a yellow brick.
No, Bellina, you don't understand. This was the yellow brick road.
Oh, why don't you look where you're going, young woman?
In 1986, Denise could be heard as the lady on the rubbish tip in Jim Henson's fantasy classic Labyrinth. Although she only appeared in one scene, the character was basically an American version of Zelda and was just as devious, as she tried to prevent Jennifer Connelly from recovering her kidnapped baby brother from David Bowie's Goblin King.
Oh, you're a little bunny rabbit. You like your little bunny rabbit, don't you? Yes, yes, yes. There you go. Oh, and there's Betsy Boo. You remember Betsy Boo, don't you? Yes, yes, yes. Now then, what else have we got?
In 1992, Denise was to work with Gerry Anderson one final time as part of the voice cast of his new animated series, GFI. Sadly, the final product was not up to the standards that Anderson had been hoping for, and the series was abandoned after completion of just one episode.
Victory is nearly within my grasp.
By the late 1990s, Denise had largely retired from acting, but in 2003 she was reunited with 3 of her Terrahawks co-stars for Revisiting the Future, a retrospective documentary about the making of the series. Denise relished the opportunity to talk about the show again, especially when it provided her ample opportunity to reprise Zelda.
You Terrahawks have fallen right into my trap at last!
In 2003, another of Denise's classic characters returned to TV when Kiki the Frog joined Hector and Zaza for a series of 4 tongue-in-cheek commercials promoting the One account.
Which is?
A clever little what's-his-name which helps you pay off your mortgage early by combining it with your current account.
Am I Pope Gregory the Ninth? No.
What are you doing here? Thought you were going sightseeing with your mother.
Well, she's taken up with that Mrs. Van Geysingham from the hotel.
In 2006, Denise made a long overdue appearance in Doctor Who, when she played Mrs. Van Geysingham in the Big Finish audio drama The Reaping.
I knew there was something about you. Is that why you're wearing that?
Oh, yeah, I meant to be undercover. As an American.
How exciting. So you're a secret agent like James Bond?
Indeed I am. And you've given me exactly the information I needed.
I'll put my foot down then.
No.
To the police station, Doctor!
No, that's really... Oh, forget it.
She also continued to make occasional radio and audiobook appearances, such as in this student radio play produced at Pinewood Studios in 2006.
Is there anything you want? Anything you need? Are you comfortable? Mark, please give me some sign. Something. Anything.
In 2014, Denise was interviewed for Filmed in Supermarionation, a documentary celebrating the Gerry Anderson puppet series of the 1960s, where she appeared alongside her former husband Nicholas Parsons and fellow voice actress Liz Morgan.
It was always in the country, wasn't it?
No, it was AP Film Starring in Slough, which was a...
Yes, but that was in the country.
No, it's an industrial area.
Oh, well, I used
It was
to
on
go
an
off.
industrial estate.
Was
but
it really?
This is your natural
somewhere
romanticism.
in the country.
Your natural romanticism. You painted Slough as a beautiful place in the country.
Yeah, well, I probably did, yeah.
Denise has also made occasional convention appearances, such as at Andacon 2014, where a very special announcement was made. In 2015, Big Finish relaunched Terrahawks as a series of full-cast audio dramas, featuring all the characters from the original television series and 3 of the original voice cast.
Hello, I'm a very old actress who's come back to play even older, 165 or 45, witch called Zelda. Actually, she's Queen of the Universe. And my darlings, you better look out, because I'm watching you. No more rest. We must destroy the Terrahawks and enslave the pathetic humans. Victory will be ours!
Across 3 seasons and 26 brand new episodes, Zelda was once again unleashed to terrorise the Terrahawks, and Denise had lost none of her enthusiasm for the role in the years since the show had ended.
It was as if I'd never stopped playing her. It was very easy indeed. I am very, very privileged to be in such a lovely cast.
She also had the opportunity to work once again with 2 of her 3 co-stars from Four Feather Falls, as Nicholas Parsons guest starred in the first episode of Series 2.
I hate you.
I know, it feels good, doesn't it?
And David Graham in 2 episodes of Series 3.
She's one of the big talents in voice work.
going back a long, long time. And it's always a joy to meet and work with people you've worked with so many years ago. Yeah. Lovely lady.
With her work on the audio series of Terrahawks, Denise Bryer is now the longest-serving Gerry Anderson voice artist, but that's just one of the many accomplishments in her exceptionally long career. Nevertheless, the one role above all others that she is still remembered for to this day is Zelda, to the extent that people of a certain age still shudder at the mere mention of her name. That someone as sweet and lovely as Denise can be so fondly remembered for creating such a wicked character is an achievement that even Zelda herself would quite rightly agree is...
excellent! I've just shown you a short video showing, sort of summarising your career as part of our Beyond Anderson series. Was that strange, watching it back?
Well, it was, yes, it was really. I live for the moment and forget the past and look forward to the future, but really, I've always been living just for this moment. And I think that's why I enjoy life so much.
Yeah, and why you're such a force of nature, even now.
No.
Denise, I think I said to you at lunch, but you're one of those people who makes me look forward to being older. Because a lot of people get worried about, getting into their later years, into their 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. But you're one of those people that makes you think, actually, it'll probably be quite fun.
Well, I'm enjoying it, but I think that's so nice of you to say that, because I sometimes think my 90th year is the happiest I've ever had, because I'm seeing grandchildren grown up, waiting for my great-grandchild, hoping I'll have one soon.
Amazing.
And I don't know, life gets better and better, because you become more tolerant, and you see people's point of view in a different way. You see them, and you understand why they are who they are, and you just love a lot more.
Oh, bless you. She's so lovely. And if you, especially having seen that video, looking back, have you got a career highlight or a particular voice you love doing, or was it just the fact that you got to do that as your career?
I love being different characters. I think the most fun I had was playing Zelda, but I love playing Noddy. I like playing all these different characters because I am a character actress. I like to get out of my shell and into other forms.
And you do it all the time, even when you're not working, don't you? I mean, doing character voices.
Oh yes, I do. Yes.
I mean,
I sometimes enjoy myself by doing this very ginny old lady. I don't know where I heard her. I think it was Irene Vanbrugh or one of those old actresses. But I just love being other people, I suppose. I now, at last, quite like being me, but it's taken a long time.
Well, you're very good at being you as well, Denise, but I should say that even over lunch, I think you've probably done 8 separate voices, I think, since I arrived earlier on. Yeah.
Oh, how horrible. What an old show-off.
It's brilliant. It's just
so terrible.
The way you switch between the voices is amazing. And we've just watched that lovely clip of David Graham saying very nice things about you.
I know. Dear David Graham.
They don't...
Oh, I've had a wonderful life with your father and now you.
Oh, bless you.
You made a great difference to my life, both of you.
Oh, bless you, Denise.
Really, that's true.
Well, it's been a great pleasure, and I'm hoping that Zelda will get another outing.
Oh, don't speak too soon. I might die any minute.
Oh, don't say that, Denise. No chance. You're going to keep on going and going and going, I think. Looking back, Denise, to the early days of playing Footso the cat.
I'm a cat, very fat, and I sleep on the mat.
See, she can't help herself. Would you, if somebody had told you in 1957 that many years later, 61 years later, you would be sat in your lovely flat in London talking to Gerry's son, having revived a future character? I mean, I just love the history of it, but it's...
and I love my adopted son. And I've loved working for Gerry, and I'm so thankful I'm still so old. I mean, at 90, I'm still having an absolute ball. I really am.
You deserve every minute of it, Denise. I won't ask you anything more because your career and your work speaks for itself.
Well, I started when I was 4, made a film when I was 7, another one when I was 8, then the war came. But I've had a really wonderful life, thanks to people like your father and you.
Bless you, Denise. Very much.
I think I must be rather wicked, actually, because I just love being evil. So it came very naturally to me. I think that's enough now. Goodbye.
Well, I'm going to say that I love you all in spite of my hatred for everything else. I've had a wonderful time, and I love you. Terrahawks, stay on this channel. This is an emergency.
Ah,
dear Granny Zelda.
Yeah.
She's so lovely. She whenever I speak to her, she goes, "Darling, you know you are my adopted grandson, aren't you? I do love you."
Sweet.
She's awesome.
And she's an amazing lady, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Delightful company as well. I met her a couple of times. We did the Terrahawks audio together,
we did,
of course.
Richard. Yes, we did Sail of the Galaxy together, didn't we?
Yes.
We had to record with Nicholas and Denise on a different day to the rest of the
That's
cast.
right.
And you very kindly came and read in and then did your Jeremy Vile
That's
episode.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But have you got any overriding memories from that other than upsetting Nicholas Parsons?
Yeah, I did not upset Nicholas Parsons.
You absolutely did upset him because
upset
the moment I came in, he was having a go at me, wasn't he?
Well, I do remember having a lovely cup of coffee with Denise at Paddington Station. Do you remember?
Oh yes, I've forgotten about that. Was that before we went back?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you like cake, dear? Do you like cake? Yeah, Denise. Yeah, I love cake. Yeah, very sweet.
She is brilliant, but I mean, such a talent.
Yeah.
But no sense of how good she is.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, she enjoys it, but she always I'm such a silly old thing, darling.
Yeah. And doesn't it speaks, to just the very fact that Gerry used these actors again and again and again, and they were always happy to work for him. The loyalty that he engendered, I think, it really speaks to the, to the man and how people really just wanted to be part of that whole legacy, really, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Denise again, she says, she loved working for Dad, and just always felt very close to him.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, great. Very nice. So don't forget, you can catch up with our previous interviewees on previous podcasts. They include the likes of, let's pick one that we haven't mentioned for a while. I'm going to say...
Nicholas Briggs.
Oh, you said Nicholas Briggs? Yeah, okay.
We haven't said him for a while.
No, we haven't. I'm just trying to think of a name that... Phil Plait.
Good choice.
How's that?
And now I can't think of anyone either. Lizo Mazumba.
Of course. Lee Sullivan.
That was the interview you did. Oh, yes. Well, Lee Sullivan's a Goldie. Isn't he?
An oldie and a Goldie. And a goodie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, all those things. Anyway, Sophia Miles, David Quantick, McKinnon and Saunders, and also archive stuff.
Yeah.
The Shane Rimmer interview, the Shane Rimmer tribute episode, David Graham. We could go on and on, but we won't.
No, because it's time for everyone's second favourite part of the podcast. That's a bit harsh. I really shouldn't say that, should I? It is, of course...
No, you should say it.
Yeah, Chris Dale's fantastic randomiser. Now, Jonathan got in touch via our Facebook group saying, is there a chance of a list covering which episodes have been selected on the randomiser so far? I know it's a tall order, considering you have 44 pods at this point. And Chris Dale himself replied underneath with a long list of all those 44 episodes that he sat down and watched for the randomiser, and they are Torchy and Squish, 30 Minutes After Noon, Trial at Sea, Child of the Sun God, The Talisman of Sargon, Grey Skulls, Tom Thumb Tempest, Deep Seven, Loch Ness Monster, Journey to Where, The Launching, Two for the Price of One, Once a Raw Man, Deadline, Posse Boots Goes to Topsy Turvy Land, Arctic Adventure, The Fortress, Trap for a Rhino, Space War, Double Agent, All That Blisters, Hate Street, Torchy's Golden, Against the Blue Panel Part 1, Against the Blue Panel Part 2, Illegal, Guilty Million, Music 2, High Tension, Moon of Dead, Face Proud, Space Rain, Mindbender, Suffering Sea, Invasion Earth, Decoy, Inferno, White Danger, 65, Cloud Chaos, All Star, The Golden Town, The Day Life, Station.
Wow.
There you go.
And you read them so fast as well.
I'm out of puff now.
How'd you do that?
I did it all in one breath, Jamie. Amazing,
I've never heard anyone do something like that before.
It's a skill.
Yeah, though that's what the 3 years at drama school was all for. Incredibly impressive. So thank you very much. Well, on that note, the randomizer itself is going to probably feel like a bit of a downer, isn't it, after hearing you do that?
I should hope not.
No, of course, it'll be great. Anyway, look, let's wheel Chris in, but I think he's got a problem with the randomizer this week.
Uh-oh.
Is it worth the risk?
I wouldn't advise it.
Oh, hello everyone. Not sure we're going to have an episode for you today, actually. The randomizer's on the blink again. Here, I'll show you. When you press the big red button, instead of an episode selection, we're getting...
Two-gun Tex of Texas. In the avenues and alleyways. Fancy star in the dormer.
See? So I've brought the machine to Moonbase Alpha for a checkup with two of the finest scientific minds in the Gerry Anderson universe.
I think I may have found our problem.
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
Uh-oh.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's something I haven't come across before.
Yes, I think I can explain. That's a USB hard drive I plugged into the randomizer. I wanted to see if she could play music too.
That's it.
When it got in here, it somehow gave the command. Eradicate.
Oh, don't tell me I've lost all the episodes.
No, of course not.
We could always reinstall its memory core.
Oh, well, please do. You might also want to remove the video game emulators I tried to install on it too.
I have.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't think there'd be a problem with downloading things to the randomizer, so long as it still functions.
It's not going to be functioning at all before long.
Handle her with care.
Okay, I promise. No more modifications to the randomizer. Right, let's see what we have today. Well, it's an episode from a puppet series we've not seen for a while, and... I tell you what, Victor, since you're so keen to show everyone how clever you are, how about you tell everyone what we're watching today? You say the name of the show and the episode. Ha! Bet you can't do that.
Here it is.
Good luck.
Terrahawks. Time warp.
How does he do that?
Very clever, these Earthlings.
Terrahawks, stay on this channel. This is an emergency.
So, at last we're back with Terrahawks. This is our only our second go with Terrahawks on the randomizer after 2 for the price of 1 back in pod, I don't know, I want to say 15, 13, 14-ish. Again, this is an episode from Series 2 of Terrahawks, which I think I generally prefer to Series 1. I just really love Itstar. I love the relationship between him and Youngstar, and by this point in the series, Itstar was full evil genius, and Youngstar was his sort of hapless henchman. Quite an interesting episode, quite a notable episode, so I'm looking forward to going through this today.
2 Zeefs, closing fast.
Oh, for a moment you had me worried.
Space Sergeant!
Well, straight away we're into a slightly dangerous situation, and we already know that things are a bit off because Hero and 101 are completely oblivious to the fact that we have 2 Zeefs flying straight at Spacehawk.
Help me with these plants. We must get them to safety.
I don't know how quickly I can spoil the fact that this devastating attack on Spacehawk, which has just claimed the life yep, there he goes, of Lieutenant Hero. He's just been crushed by his plants. 101 comes to the rescue and is also taken out. Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say at this point that they are not really dead. Much the same as with Day in the Life of a Space General. Things are getting trashed, but all is not as it seems. Oh. Some lovely damage to Spacehawk, though. I'm not too keen, actually, on... And I think it's unique to Terrahawks, where they would just... Instead of actually detonating an explosion on the model, they would just, like, overlay a transparent explosion. It's an interesting effect that sometimes works, but never quite comes off. But if it saved money and enabled them to do other things, then that's fine.
Take it easy, Mary.
Yeah, come on, Mary, I like that song.
Spacehawk has been destroyed. I radioed at 1090. I couldn't get through.
You know what this means?
For space sake, Kate, try...
Hashtag avenge the fallen. So now the White House is getting blown up. And again, this is...
Take cover!
As with Then Life of a Space General, I'm wondering if this was shot as one of the final episodes so that they could trash the White House model and the living room set for real. And Kate's just... She's all right, but...
My piano! Look what they've done to it.
Yeah, the cost has been all too high for Kate.
Round, I don't know.
And I love, as well, with this opening, is that all the characters except for Mary are completely oblivious to what's going on. They're far too preoccupied with things like the piano or Hero's plants, which is sort of borderline in character. Oh, that's Tiger's desk. Yeah, that's real fire on the set here of the living room in the White House. I have to believe that this is the real set being trashed, which makes me wonder if, you know, when did they know that they wouldn't need this set again? Or were they prepared even to rebuild it if they had to?
Tiger!
I've always found that quite odd with...
It's a disaster!
With shows where they had to make a huge change to a regular set for one episode only, and then the next week they put it all back to normal again.
Kate's dead.
I'll take it up myself.
And an unusually somber opening to this episode, actually, for a series that people would say is very silly. Oh, is that the White House model gone? Oh, if not completely gone, that's very badly singed. And now the little underground lounge is falling apart.
I mustn't let it happen.
Very, very grim beginning. Oh, another hit on the White House. And now the Battlehawk Bay is being trashed. That's wreckage falling on Battlehawk. Oh, they've not just trashed... They're trashing everything this week. I kind of like that the puppeteer is just having Tiger sort of quiver with terror in the cockpit of Hawkwing as he smashes into the wall. But unfortunately...
All right, Mary. Everything's all right.
Why did I say unfortunately? I mean fortunately. I don't want any of these characters dead. I love these characters. I love this show. But everything is all right now. Even the piano is back to normal.
Feeling better?
Yes.
And it's strange that we have a dream sequence in an episode. A fairly prolonged dream sequence that isn't like the entire episode. And Mary seems genuinely affected by this. She's looking out the window, making sure everything's okay.
We must try again.
And here in Zelda's complex we have Lord Tempo. I think this is his third and final appearance in the TV series. He's visually he's a very interesting character because he looks like a gangster, but he looks so old and withered and emaciated, and yet he's got the voice of Bela Lugosi, and he's also a Time Lord. It's like, okay, as with all things in Terrahawks, it's like we'll pick from multiple sources and we'll cram it all together and create something bonkers. Although Lord Tempo comes off as being somewhat sinister in the fact that he has this great power, but he doesn't have, unlike say SRAM, he doesn't have to roar and bring down mountains. He can just sort of concentrate, stand there looking all imposing and sinister, and it's really effective. It's quite a nice contrast compared to the other monsters that Zelda has.
The woman named Mary was too strong.
He's even got black leather gloves.
I will send a time probe. Allow your mind to merge with mine, and we may search together.
I love how in any other Anderson show, the slight vagueness of Zelda and Tempo's powers would almost seem like a plot hole, but here it's like, you know, we can make it up almost, you know, things that sort of barely make sense. You know, let's have our minds merge. We shall send a time probe. It doesn't make any sense, but on this show, somehow it makes sense that it doesn't make sense. And they're now searching through the Terrahawks network to find a...
Too logical. Too clever.
To find a suitable host for their time warp. Mary was the first subject. She rejected it.
A surprising mental strength.
That was Space Sergeant 101, who was being dismissed as a candidate for the time warp. Surprising mental strength. And even this, finding someone who can hold a time warp in their mind until they're ready to unleash it. It doesn't make a lick of sense. But it's a very interesting way, a very logical, methodical way they're going about this.
The communication system.
They've sent their probe in through Spacehawk, and it's now gone down to Hawknest through Spacehawk's communication system. Does rather beg the question of, Zelda and Lord Tempo are now mentally at the White House. They have essentially found Hawknest, which they were always trying to do, but...
the woman, we have already tried.
This week it doesn't matter.
The accursed clone.
Too strong. He would reject the time warp.
Well, we're rattling off a list of candidates here, people who are strong enough to fight off the time warp. Doesn't leave us with many candidates left. Well, Hawkeye? No, Hawkeye's not in the series anymore by this point. Nobody knows what happened to Hawkeye in the second series. He's just gone. But here we have 18 and Sergeant Major Zero.
You have found a suitable subject.
Almost perfect. Arrogant. Stubborn. And intellectually much weaker than the rest.
That's a brilliant insight into Zero, and I love how strong the characters are in this show, and a description like that really highlights that Tony Barwick not only enjoyed writing for these characters, he understood who they were and what made them tick. It's brilliant.
Sergeant Major, can you hear what we're saying?
Upon a key. Right away, Mom.
So the Time Warp has now been successfully installed in Zero's system, and again, it's creating a humorous situation.
Has accepted the Time Warp,
which potentially is going to have devastating consequences for Hawknest.
Can be unleashed into the accursed Terrahawks' entire system.
I love it when this show is silly, but I also love it when they can pull off a slightly more serious story like this, because we know how this could end. There goes the wig. We know how this could end. It could end with the destruction of Hawknest. It's a genuine prospect at this point. Will they pull it off? Will they succeed? Let's find out.
Name, Zero. Rank, Sergeant Major.
For space's sake.
He's answering, but there's a delay.
2 weeks.
Charlie Smithers. That's all I can think of when I see this is that sketch.
I see what you mean.
Maybe that was
Zero. Report to sickbay.
The germ of the story for all we know.
It is time, my Lord Tempo. Unleash your time warp.
Yeah, Zelda's putting everything on this plan. She's launched the entire fleet. Zero's on the way to sickbay, but he's not going to make it. And this is a lovely atmospheric moment as well, where the Terrahawks all seem to be reacting to something that they know is happening, but they can't. There's nothing there to sort of identify. It's almost like a sort of somebody walked over my grave type.
Fire and damnation was that.
It was like something in my dream.
You missed. You were too late, 101.
We missed, Lieutenant.
I just told you that.
I said we missed, Lieutenant.
This is a lovely idea as well, when the Zeroids are such wonderful characters and they're always so useful, but they are machines, and for once, not for the first time actually, but it's a rare occasion where they can be
This is Tiger 9
rendered not only useless, but essentially a hindrance.
Doctor, Zelda's battle fleet is closing. Doctor, Zelda's battle fleet is closing. There is little we
I love that as well. It doesn't just extend to the Zeroids, it's the radios as well. We're getting that delay on the communications as well.
I want a total electronic close down.
But Tiger!
Computers, memory banks, Zeroids, communications, the works. Shut it down. It's our only chance.
And I love that a show that's so rooted in the 80s comes up with this as a solution to fix the problem. This is how we deal with computers today. It is just essentially...
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Spacehawk is defenseless.
Oh, and Hero looks very, very alone in just that eerie blue lighting of Spacehawk.
This is our greatest opportunity to find the stinking hawk nest.
And again, we have Lord Tempo just standing beside Zelda, just there, just looking. He's not joining in with the laughter. He's just this tall, sinister presence with this massive hat. I think he's a great character. I really enjoy Lord Tempo.
Tiger, I could kiss you.
I may hold you to that.
101.
If this were my dream, we'd be doing a lot more than kissing.
Now.
Now, this is maybe a slightly too simplistic way to end the episode.
They must have beaten the time warp.
Because sometimes Zelda hatches a plan and it's she says it's the greatest plan ever, but it's pretty rubbish. This one is a really good plan, and so far it's been executed perfectly. Yeah, it is kind of disappointing to always end with these sort of and one bound they were free and the baddies turn around and go home ending, but...
Do take us back in time.
And be pretty quick about it, eh, Concop?
This is a very effective ending as well. We don't see the fleet disappear. We just see sort of Tempo hold his hand to his head and then suddenly just cut to a star field. It's a very...
They've gone, Lieutenant.
Dreamlike ending to a slightly dreamlike episode.
The question is, in reality, were they ever here?
And the music is really setting the atmosphere. Well, that was Time Warp. Yeah, I really enjoy that one. Not just for the fact that it has Lord Tempo in it, who I think is great, but a real genuine sense of drama and uneasiness. The opening dream sequence of everybody getting killed is unsettling. The fact that it's always unsettling to see characters getting killed in the dream episodes, I think, but the fact that they seem so oblivious, they don't really care, and yeah, just a really strong central idea, maybe let down by a slightly weak but not unusually weak for the show kind of ending. And yeah, that was I think that was the penultimate episode of the show that was made, actually. Certainly the final appearance of Lord Tempo in Terrahawks until I don't know, someone with way too much time on their hands brought him back in the audio series. Don't know who that was.
Well, I love a bit of Terrahawks, Richard.
Well, we
I
all
know
love
you
a
do
bit of
too.
Terrahawks, yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're part of canon, aren't you?
I like to think so.
You're a shape-shifting alien who feeds off the negative emotions of others.
That's very kind of you to say so.
And in Terrahawks, you played...
very nice to hear that as well after the little appearance from Denise Bryer in the interview section there. So that's a bit of a
isn't it
little
timely?
Terrahawks theme this week. That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that is strange.
Yeah.
So yes, Time Warp with Terrahawks' very own Time Lord.
Yes.
Lord Tempo.
That's right. Very good.
I mean, it's such a bizarre character, and another Jeremy Hitchin voice.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that sort of... it reminds me of the Count from Sesame Street.
Oh yes, of course.
That's the very similar voice.
That's right. Yeah.
But yes, it's a sort of dream/time travel episode.
Yeah.
And it, as Chris said, it's a bit of an odd one, like a really nice kernel of an idea, but sort of like they ran out of time to fully explore it, or Tony Barwick ran out of puff or something. But we all love a bit of Terrahawks, don't we?
Of course we do. Yeah, thank you for that, Chris. That was delightful. You can catch all the other randomisers, of course, on our previous podcasts. In the meantime, don't forget you can email us in at podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk. You can get in touch with us on Twitter, hashtag us Gerry Anderson Podcast. You can be part of the facebook.com/groups/Podsterons Facebook listeners group. Answer 3 questions and I'll let you in. Don't forget to subscribe, rate and review. And finally, we'd love it if you'd give us a vote at the BritishPodcastAwards.com. That'd be great.
Yes, and if you're listening to this after the 15th of May 2019, then you don't even need to do that.
No,
just do the subscribing, rating and reviewing bit instead.
Exactly.
And do share it around. Now, Richard.
Yes.
I haven't got anything else, don't worry.
I
can see your face then thinking, come on, I've got to go and do things. And I'm sure our listeners have got to do things too. So shall we let them go and we can see them next week?
I think we ought to. I thought maybe we'd bring the changes next week. Maybe do number 46.
Really?
Shall we?
All right, if you insist.
See you then.
Yeah, join us next week. Bye.
Stage 1 complete.
Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
Now, Richard.
Yeah?
I still can't get over how you did that very fast talking thing.
No, it's a skill that I've acquired.
Do you think you could do it again for me?
Hang on a
I
minute.
would love it if you told me every... No, I want you to list in a production order.
Yes.
No, just any order that you like, every episode of Space Precinct. Can you do that for me?
Right, okay. Right.
Yeah? From memory, this is.
Oh, from memory, okay. Right, ready when you are.
Okay, here we go. 3...
hang on a minute. Sorry, are we talking broadcast order or production order?
Production order, if you can.
Fine.
Is that all right?
Yeah, okay.
Brilliant, okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Double duty, protect and survive, enforcer, flash, the snake, body and soul, time to kill, deadline, power, seek and destroy, illegal, divide, withstand, turn, interrupt, take over, predator and prey, witness, hate, street friends, smother, scouter, death watch, survival in part 1, the 5 in part 2, the threat of beetle, death watch, the conclusion.
Wow. Richard, you are a marvel. I didn't realise you had these extra talents and things. So
You call that a talent?
Well, of sorts, yeah.
But I knew it would come in useful one day, and there I've done it twice in one podcast.
Yeah, that's it now. Nobody want to hear it again. Thanks anyway. Bye.
Bye.